Hey, so let me ask you something. You ever have a moment where you come back? Not dramatically. Nobody's watching. There's no like music playing. You look up from whatever you've been doing on autopilot for the last 6 months and you kind of think to yourself like, oh, there I am. It's like you catch your own reflection in a window and actually recognize yourself.
Yeah, so that moment, that's what this whole series has been building toward. We started with highway hypnosis, which was the slow drift, and the way life gets quiet and you stop noticing that you've even checked out, like you're talking about. And then the functional fade.
And look, now we're here. Part 3, the return. And, people might hear that and picture something big, a montage, a before and after, that January 1st energy. But that is not this.
No, because realistically, the return is almost always quiet. It's quietly done. Again, it's another one of those random Tuesdays, and you're tired, you're beat, and you just do the one thing that you've been avoiding, whatever that is. And when you take that action, something shifts. Not everything, but one thing, one important thing.
Yeah, and look, that's what we're building today. We're going to talk about 5 moves, 5 practices, real ones. The kind that work even when you're tired, not just when you're on fire and feeling good. So let's get into it.
This is the nature of everything. Don't stay stuck.
Hey everybody, I'm Bo.
And I'm Clint.
And look, real quick before we get into the meat of this episode, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is the nature of everything. We use a framework called COIN. Confirm it, own it, be intentional, and change the nature of everything. And we use that to help people to get unstuck, to help ourselves stay unstuck, and to start living with a little more clarity and intention. And you can find everything about us at thenatureofeverything.com.
And look, this is episode part 3 of a series called Coming Back to Yourself. And if you hadn't heard parts 1 and 2, which are the highway hypnosis episode and the functional fade episode, we ask that you go back and listen, check those out, because they set all of this up really well. So go check those out and then come back and you'll get more out of today if you go do those first.
And for those of you who have been with us for longer, we started this particular series because, we needed it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just content. Me and Clint, we were both sort of in this too, walking through it, working it out. The same way we're asking you to, the same way we needed to, the same way we do with COIN.
That's how COIN started in the first place. Just 2 guys being honest with each other about, where they actually were in life and how they were feeling and, what they were dealing with. That's, and still to this day, that's still all that it is. That's just us.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. So if you've been with us, you've done some work. If you've been a part of this series, you've already done some thinking. You've done some processing, some confirming, and some owning. Maybe you confirmed that, you've been on autopilot too. That's not nothing. A lot of people don't even get that far. They just keep managing and pushing and surviving and calling it fine.
It's fine. It's always just fine. Absolutely. Look, in the functional fade episode, you owned how you got there. And that's the part most people truly skip that's problematic, because owning it isn't about blame, and it's certainly not about shaming yourself. It's the moment you stop outsourcing that explanation for your own life and you say, hey, whatever brought me here, I'm the one who decides what happens next.
Yeah, I love that. No matter what brought you here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you've confirmed it. You've owned it. But now is the time that we're going to get intentional, and we're going to change the nature of everything. That's the whole COIN. We've just lived it across 3 episodes.
Absolutely. And look, in the return, this episode, that's what happens when all 4 steps point in the same direction, which just luckily happened to be forward.
Yeah. All right. So the 5 practices that we want to talk about, and look, these aren't in a strict sequence. You might need all 5. You might need 1. I don't know. You're going to figure that out. But if you're finding your way back now, you'll recognize at least one of these.
All right. So practice number 1, name the moment. Name it. You say it out loud. I'm not where I want to be. And you know what? That's okay. Because you know what? Where I am is right here, right now. That's okay.
Yeah, that's it. The return cannot start just in your head. It has to start in your mouth, saying it to yourself, saying it to someone you trust, writing it down, but it needs to get out of your skull and you need to formally name it. Because the moment you name it, you stop being a passenger, a victim, and you start being the driver, the catalyst again.
But I want to say this, there is something about why this is particularly difficult. Because on the surface, it does sound easy. Just say it out loud. But you know what? Most of us have spent a long time being really good. I'm saying really good at not saying it. Whatever it is, we're really good about not saying it out loud.
True.
Again, and we'll say it. I'm fine.
I'm so fine.
And so I'm fine. I'm fine. Or like we mentioned in the previous episodes, I'm just, it's cool. I'm just tired. Things are just crazy right now. And guess what? Those aren't lies. Exactly. Right? They're just softer versions of the truth, if you want to know the truth.
It's so much truth. Truthful, truthy, meaty truth.
That's it.
Yeah, but look, naming the moment means that you stop using that truthy, truthy truth cake, and you start saying something real, even if it's just to yourself in the car with nobody listening. It's not defeat. It's really the first act of ownership. It's you saying, hey, I see this and I'm just not going to pretend anymore. And that's the beginning of everything.
Indeed. All right. So practice number 2. Drop the story. Right after you name whatever the moment is, like your brain, because your brain's like really, really, really good at protecting you from being ugly to you or being uncomfortable. And since it's that good at it, it starts building a case for why you can't move out of this, because there's going to be some discomfort involved. Well, you're too tired and, too far gone, and well, it's way too late for trying to, I'm an old dog, new tricks, all that crap. Like, I've tried this before and it doesn't work. You know what? All of that sounds very familiar to all of us, but like that story still just isn't the truth. That is that habitual practice that's taking you in the wrong direction. And simply put, you can't argue with the truth, but you can interrupt a good practice. You can put something in the way so that you don't have to make a smart move forward.
Yeah, and look, dropping that story, that old tired narrative, that doesn't mean pretending that things aren't hard. It means asking one question. What is actually true right now? Not what has been true, not what might be true. Like, what is that truth right now?
Yeah, because most of the time, when you strip it down to what's actually true right now, there's more room to move than the story was actually letting on. That old tired narrative makes the gap look infinite. It makes it look so unbeatable, so uncrossable, so unclosable. But if you think about it and you think through it truthfully, man, that changes that completely.
So, practice number 3, find your one thing. And that's not a plan, not a whole list, just one thing. And I think that that's where personal development falls apart, including all the stuff that we've also done. I mean, you get inspired and you make a list and you buy the new planner, and then, like it always does, life happens. And the list becomes just a reminder of how you failed. Like
Of all
it's
the shit
terrible.
you're not doing. That's right.
I know. I mean, one thing changes that. And that's the one small thing that we're talking about. And it's got to be so small that you can actually do it. And it doesn't matter how small that is. It's like, what's the smallest possible, tiniest thing that you can do to put you back in the driver's seat of something that matters? What can you do today? And again, like Clint said earlier, not this week, like literally today, right now, like hit pause and go do something.
Absolutely. It's not a when I get around to it kind of thing. This is what is that smallest, like it's so small and it's so obvious that you almost can't not do it. Like it's driving you forward
But
because
it's also that small so that you discount it because you're like, well, it's just too small to
it's
even
too
count.
small. Yeah.
It's not though.
It's not. That's like whatever it is, like that text that you've been avoiding, or just a walk you keep postponing because you don't want to. As well. I mean, it's nice outside, but what if it gets warmer? Well, then you might sweat a little bit. That's fine. Whether it's, I don't know, write one sentence in your journal because your journal just seems so overwhelming that you might actually be honest with yourself on paper. Write one sentence. It's fine because that journal's been sitting on your nightstand since 2025 and it just wants one sentence. It's just one.
Look, and again, I know that the brain wants to argue with this. Your brain is going to want to tell you like one thing isn't enough. And look,
What's the point?
to change the nature of everything, it might not be enough, but it's damn sure enough to start.
That's right.
One thing is not going to fix everything. Your brain's going to tell you, like, well, you've got 17 things wrong. Like, what's one thing going to do?
Yeah, well, it's not going to listen to that same tired story that's still talking. So that's what that one thing's going to do. And to your point, it's not about fixing everything. It's about proving to yourself that you can get unstuck, that you still can take steps forward. So the gap that we're talking about is crossable. It is closable. And the one thing that you're willing to do is the evidence of that.
It's
And
good.
that evidence changes how you'll actually see yourself.
Yeah. So look, whatever it is, just do that one thing. Like, do
Yeah.
it today. It
Yeah.
really does become the evidence. I love that. So look, practice number 4: build the bridge, not the destination. And look, this is one for people who get paralyzed by really the size of the gap or by the fact that there are 17 things we need to fix, right?
Yeah,
And look, don't feel bad. That's pretty much all of us.
Sure. And to your point, for the most part, you don't just close a gap all at once. You really do close it one plank at a time, one cross tie or one bridge trestle. Like I mean
Can we just
it
say one step?
sure. Yeah, one step at a time.
One plank,
I was
one
I was
splinter
being
of wood.
it was so beautifully visual though. I wanted you to really see me building that that bridge across the gap. But okay, so realistically, intentionality isn't about having the whole road mapped out. It's not. It is about the integral steps that we've talked about time and time again. It's about moving with that purpose, that intentionality from where you are to where you want to go.
Yeah, you don't need to see the whole bridge. You do just need to kind of take the next step.
Hmm.
What's that right next step? Just to quote, Frozen, the movie,
Mm,
like, what's the next right thing? Do the
that's
next
right.
right thing. What's the next right step from exactly where you're standing right now? Not where you wanted to end up previously, like, not where you think you ought to have been. Like, that's the screw up. Don't do that.
Hmm.
Like, where are you
Hmm.
right now? And what's the next best step that you can take right now from here?
And here's what happens when you actually apply this. When you just take that one step, you just apply that one motion and stop trying to solve the whole thing all at once, you start getting clarity that you didn't have before because you can only see so far from where you are at a standstill. And what's interesting is that getting yourself into motion actually gives you a different view.
Yeah, so you take that step. Only that step.
Hmm.
And then you'll be able to see the next one. You couldn't see it from way back there, but you can see it from here. And that's how the bridge gets built. That's how you cover a distance. It's one step and then another.
All right, practice number 5, stay in the room. And this is the most important one, but I'll also say probably the most misunderstood one.
Yeah, because again, the return is not a moment, it's a practice, which means that you're going to drift again.
Hmm.
Like that you're going to have another functional fade and get highway hypnosis all over again. Another
Absolutely.
season of it all.
Absolutely. And like we've said in the past, that's not failure. It's feedback and it's being human and it's part of what we're in the middle of. Like and you're always going, thank God you're in the middle of being able to have functional fade and being able to take another step. So this practice 5, staying in the room, it's not staying perfect. It's not saying that you're never going to drop the ball again. It's just your ability to stay in the room and come back faster from that every time.
Wow, I love that. And look, I mean, we wrote about this in the book. That's the coin economy. That every time you confirm something and you take ownership and you act with intention, like that's a coin in your pocket. And the more reps you get, the faster the return becomes.
Absolutely, because first time that you drift, Hell, it may take you a year to even notice. Like, you might not even realize you're just cruising on autopilot. But as you get more effective with this, it starts cutting it down. Maybe it's 6 months before you need to have a wake up call, or 3 months. Like, and it keeps chopping that down. Then what happens when you're not cruising on autopilot for months at a time and you're actually able to catch this in real time? Holy crap, what happens when you catch this before you even start into the fade at all?
Wow. And this is actually the thing that separates people who grow from people who stay stuck. It's
That's right.
definitely not talent. It is
No,
not
it's not.
talent. It's not having the right information. We've got all the information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even motivation. It's just you keep coming back. You keep trying. You keep staying in the room, even when it's uncomfortable. And even when you feel like you've blown it again. And even when that voice in your head, the asshole in your head, says, this isn't working. No, you don't listen and you come back anyway.
That's right. And that truly is the whole practice. That's the whole practice. That's what we're asking us to do. That's what we're asking you to do. Not to be perfect, because you're going to fail at that every time. And that's really going to hurt. We're not even asking us or you to have it figured out. Just be able to come back around, make the return, and look, stay in the room. The real crux of this is to stay in the room. That's the whole thing.
And also, look, we said that there was something else, and we just want to talk about community and how important that is. We've mentioned that on the podcast before, probably since episode 5. I don't know.
Seems
Because
right.
we've always believed that information alone isn't going to change anything. You know, that in our friendship, the fact that we can say whatever we need to say and like hold each other accountable without any blame or shame, but just say, hey, don't forget you said this. You were going to work on this. How's that going? Whatever. You know, being around other people who are doing some self work, that helps you to move forward.
Absolutely. And so, look, we've been trying to figure out what that actually looks like for quite some time now. And so, like, trying to figure out what's the right format or the right space, or how do we make the right moment work for all of this?
Yeah, but then we just kind of decided that we have to stop waiting and start
Mm-hmm.
because we could figure it out. I mean, so we're going to put one foot in front of the other, right?
Yeah.
So we built a Facebook group. It's called The Nature of Everything Get Unstuck by Living Intentionally. But who cares what the name is? Find The Nature of Everything on Facebook and you'll find the group. It's brand new and it's like embarrassingly new, like nobody's at the party yet. Just a warning.
But you know what? Like practice number 5, let's just stay in the room. Well, first we got to get in the room, and we're literally inviting you to this currently empty room. So please jump in, because it's a little terrifying for us, and it's so. But that's kind of the point, right? I mean, that's sort of the reason, is to find that discomfort and lean into it.
Yeah,
There's where the growth is, right?
that's what coin is.
Yeah.
Like we keep saying, you don't wait until you're ready. You
That's
know,
right.
you confirm where you are, you take ownership, and you take the next step anyway. So this is us taking the next step out loud and in front of everybody.
Come be part of it. It's public. It's a public space, so we're going to be in there. Again, not as people who have anything necessarily figured out, but as people doing the same work that you are, with you in at the same time, in the same moments.
Yeah, we want to build this community, you know, with you, you know, not for you. I mean, with you. So if this series, if you've been listening in or just the podcast itself, if it's meant anything and if kind of the idea of the coin framework, if that seems helpful, or you just need a place, you just need a friend. We think we're friends already. You know, come be one of the first people in the room and help us figure out what this community actually becomes.
All right, so quick wrap up, guys. This is 3 episodes, 1 series, and 1 complete trip around the coin. Again, we see the autopilot. We see that hypnosis, what it feels like. We own the fact that we fade and we drift and we move away from where we want to go. Now we have 5 specific practices to find our way back. And remember, the return isn't something that happens to you, it's something that you've chosen. And you've chosen it intentionally. and you choose it over and over and over. On the good days, yeah. Guess what? Also on the hard ones. Also the ones where you're, running on empty and you're tired and you don't feel like you've got a lot in the tank. It doesn't matter. You still get to choose it. You choose it anyway.
Yeah, and that's what coin is. It's not a one-time fix. It's a lifelong practice. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes natural and it becomes a part of you, and there is a return on that investment.
Keep in mind, you're never too far gone. I know you feel it, but you're also not too tired. You're not too late. You're never too late. But we always have needed a way back. We've always needed a return.
Yeah, and this is that way. Come back to yourself. Join the community, and let's all keep practicing.
Absolutely. And look, most importantly, don't stay stuck.
Before you go, just know it's time. Time to connect. Time to change the nature of everything. Find us at thenatureofeverything.com and don't stay stuck.